the New School for Social Research, and this is first seminar, and this is Jeff.
I'm Jeff. Elizabeth and I have done things like this in the past, and we're excited to be doing this sort of thing again. It's a matter of deep personal commitment, both of us. I actually wrote a statement, which I think I'm going to read, and I see it as it's short, and I see it as preliminary for what we're going to be doing. So, Shiroto no Ran is a leaderless, network-oriented social movement organization which focuses especially on anti-nuclear issues, responding to the meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant following the earthquake and tsunami of March 11, 2011. By using the tactics of sound demonstration and nonviolent action, the movement successfully mobilized people, especially young citizens, who have never previously participated in political demonstrations. On September 11th, the half-year anniversary of the disaster, Shiroto no Ran played a key role in mobilizing more than 25,000 participants in Tokyo, marking the fateful day. Occupy Wall Street is centrally about what's wrong with the order of things and imagining how our situation might be corrected. In the online magazine which I edit, Deliberately Considered, Scott Beck summarized its meaning with the notion that the people shall lead. Elżbieta Matynia maintained that crucial was its project to the recovery of democracy, and that crucial to this is the struggle for human dignity and economic democracy. I maintained in the journal, its form is its content. Clearly, it's about certain ends, a more equal society where corporations with their intimate connections with the state and politics don't define the major contours of the lives of the 99%. Nonviolence, opposition to the powerful in the name of the powerless, is what makes Shiroto no Ran and OWS, I wrote P, cousins. Jonathan Schell, through his long and distinguished career, has been studying this family and its struggles. Most recently, he is the author of the book, The Seventh Decade, The New Shape of Nuclear Danger. He is the peace and disarmament correspondent of The Nation. He is also the author of one of my favorite books, The Unconquerable World, Power, Nonviolence, and the Will of the People. Centrally about the form that I think the content is of OWS and Shiroto no Ran. This flying seminar is a place for discussion between such people and groups. We are hoping to continue a New School tradition of critically informed public engagement. We are dedicated to facilitating dialogue among scholars and activists from here and elsewhere, engaged in present struggles and reflecting upon struggles past. Today, Shiroto no Ran and OWS. Saturday, Adam Michnik and OWS will continue our exploration. We should start, I think, by a quick introduction of each of the participants around the table, maybe around the room, and then we will ask our colleagues from Japan to make the presentation that they'd like to present, after which we'll have a general discussion. So, I'm Jeff Goldfarb. I'm a professor at the New School for Social Research, and very interested in learning today and not professing.
Alexander, I'm a co-organizer in the Arts and Culture Working Group at the New York City Occupation since the end of July, beginning of August.
My name is Kay. I'm running a anarchist info shop in Tokyo, and I'm also in the movement on the movement, and I stay in the Wall Street, by the Wall Street. I'm leaving tomorrow.
That's the reason why this has been a flash seminar.
Real fine.
So he's the one of the members.
Right.
Not I'm member.
I'm also Kay, and I'm a PhD student at the School of Sociology department.
And it was this whole thing was his idea.
Well, we already had a kind of little discussion, right? And then we asked people, what do you think should be done? And he said, here is this group, they're flying on
It just happened.
Yeah.
It was a good timing.
はじめ松本、日本語でいいですね。素人の欄というのを東京でやってて、リサイクルショップとかカフェとか飲み屋とか古着屋とかいろんな店を作って場所作りをやってる感じで、それで最近デモをやったりとかよくやってます。
My name is Matsumoto Hajime, and I've been organizing recycle shops and used clothes store in this section of Tokyo and Koenji. And more recently, I've been actively involved in organizing demonstrations for this movement party. My name is Manuel Yang. I'm a historian of the Radical Pacific and Atlantic. I'm here as a sort of a provisional interpreter. I'd love to be here. Thank you.
My name is Taku. I came here for participating in Occupy Wall Street, and I also set up tent and sleep set there for people. Yeah, and I'm doing sociology in Japan. I'm also an activist and involved in anti-nuclear protest with them. And for long years, I always hang out with the Japanese comrades, and I'm very happy to have such a conversation today.
I'm Harrison Schultz. I'm a sociology student here in this department, New School, and I'm an anarchist. And I've been working with Occupy Wall Street since August 2nd, mostly with these people right here.
Hi, my name is Elvira Martinho, and I teach here at the New School, and I work on something which is called the Trans-Regional Center for Democratic Studies. And some of my colleagues, younger colleagues, put the two things together, and we are going to do this flying seminar. We're trying to make this conversation going for a minute. Also, we're trying not to lose touch with you as you go back to that.
I'm Jonathan Schell. I'm a writer. I've written a lot about the nuclear weapon question. And this event happens to combine my two greatest passions, political passions. One is for nonviolent, direct political action, and the other is for anti-nuclear activism. So the idea that all of you people are meeting here is sort of something of my dreams. So it's an honor to be here, and I'm very grateful for what you all are doing on both sides of the Pacific.
My name is Laurence Dutell. I'm from Montreal. I'm an anthropology student and anarchist and a co-organizer of Occupy Wall Street with these people.
Hi, my name is Justine Trandercast. I coded OccupyWallStreet.org, and I've been involved in this movement for about 3 months with these two. I've mostly been involved with technology, internet organizing, as well as public relations.
My name's Robin. I'm also an internet organizer with OWS. I'm American originally, but I'm a Dutch resident, so I actually just flew in from Amsterdam last week, so I'm still cutting my teeth on the ground.
You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Keiko. I'm a freelance journalist and reporter for Japanese publications. I've been covering Occupy Wall Street since day 2, and I'm the one who reported about the movement almost for the first time for Japanese publication.
Behind you?
I'm Austin. I'm a guest of Mr. Goldfarb, Professor.
Lisa.
I'm Lisa. I'm a sociology PhD student here in the sociology department, and I work with Jeff on his web magazine, Deliberately Considered.
And I just have to say that we are videotaping this, and the idea is actually to put the recording on YouTube And we're also going to link it to Deliberately Considered, and our hope is that the discussions we're having here will actually continue beyond this place and time.
Hi, my name is Karina Mayucho. I'm a PhD student at the Policy Department here at MSSR, and I'm helping TCBS tonight.
Hi, I'm Scott Beck. I contribute to Dr. Goldfarth's blog, and
I'd like you to be Fulbright, Dr. Fulbright. I have one of his scholarships here.
And I'm not one of the organizers of Occupy Wall Street, but and I'm not there every day, but I try to participate in the movement in a number of ways. A couple nights ago, I helped load dirty laundry onto a truck. And wet, it's very heavy. Crucial. But there's a number of ways you can participate even if you're
Hi, I'm Esther Vermont. I also contribute to GIF's e-magazine, Deliberately Considered. I'm a PhD student for the social work department, and I've worked in journalism for many years, and I'm also
I'm Aldo, I'm Polish, I'm PhD student in sociology, and Occupy Wall Street, and flying seminar particularly. It feels like home, so that's why
I'm Chen. I'm a PhD student in political science. I'm from Taiwan, so I'm just here to show my considerity to our fellow Asian people, to show some support to this event.
I'm Scott, and I'm a PhD student in political theory here at the New School, and I work with at TCBS. I've been involved with student and anarchist and communist activism and organizing in the city for the past 6 years or so.
Lawrence, I'm an anti-nuclear organizer from the Hudson Valley and President Wall Street occupier.
I'm Lily DeFriend. I'm in theory a PhD student in the anthropology department at NYU, but in practice I've been spending a lot more time. I would say I've been holding my department's claim to solidarity with Occupy Wall Street by offering my PhD hours to the think tank down there for the last couple of weeks, and I think weeks a bit more about what that is, but eventually it's just going to be trying to get some sense of what ideas and are emerging from the movement.
My name is Tim Weldon. I'm not really affiliated or attached to anything other than Occupy Wall Street at this point. Staying there, I quit my job to go all in there. We're setting up a think tank, which will be a place where we can collate and organize all the ideas that are flowing through the movement and try to get some digestible information.
We'll go back.
So let's go back.
Hi everybody, I'm Shen. I'm a PhD student in anthropology. I also come from Taiwan, and I'm the supporter of OWS. And I first knew the Shuo No Rand from my best friend in Taiwan, who engaged very closely with the anti-nuclear movement in Taiwan. And I know that the experience really teach Chinese people how to do our part in Taiwan. And that's why I want to learn more from their experience today.
Hi, my name is Yuri Shimoto, and I'm an artist from Japan.
My name is Chigaya Kinoshita, political scientist from Japan, and sometimes I take part in the teaching as a legal team.
My name is Tato Kawakami. I'm New Yorker.
Me too.
Hi, I'm Shoko. I'm a PhD student at Universal Berkeley and NYU studying political science.
Okay, my name is Kazuto. I'm a graduate student in political science at NYU, and I work on the relationship between political institutions and also it's not directly related to what we're going to discuss today, but in politics, redistributing policy in things. So I'm interested in off the Wall Street demonstration in terms of that point of view, redistributing policy. And I'm personally a content for the guy, so I want to show the support for the demonstration. Though I do not participate in
Konbanwa, National Marcus Cruz Des. I'm a PhD student in politics, and I also do some filmmaking. Unfortunately, I don't know enough Japanese to say all that yet.
I'm Tom. I teach East Asian Studies at NYU and sort of contributing to Nomadic University South Creek for October.
I'm Yuko. I've been involved in academic actions in Japanese management and then started a website for writing from Japan and elsewhere around pandemic issues and situations with radiation, and we translate in English.
Hi, my name is Ayurito. I'm also came from Japan, and I'm participated in the art movement in Osaka.
My name is Hakuko, so native of Japan, living in New York. I'm an anarchist, independent writer and translator, and I also co-editing the website jfisher.org that the UFO is also editing. So that's it.
My name is Yoshihiko Ikegami, also coming from Tokyo, Japan, and I'm not a member of Shirotoran, but I'm a fan and a supporter of Shirotoran. Fine.
My name is Chi, the PhD student in sociology in school.
My name is Luis Kayama. I'm Peruvian. I'm a PhD student in sociology here. And my work, I guess, doesn't have so much to do with this. Yeah, I'm interested in the relationship between the construction of identity and non-institutional democracy. But I'm here to learn, so I'm curious.
My name is Brian Bartholomew, former student in sociology here and now interested member of the public, I guess.
The ideal member. I think
there are some people who came. Do you want to say who you are?
I'm Phil. I'm unemployed.
I'm Nate. I'm a PhD student at Columbia in Japanese literature, and I bought all my furniture from Shidozen around when I was doing research in Tokyo.
Okay,
let me.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Atsuko Nakashima. I'm from Japan, but I've been here for a long time. I'm a PhD student in sociology department, and I'm writing dissertation about Japanese people's collective identity, starting around 1950s and 1960s. So I'm very curious how anti-nuclear movement is going to turn out this time.
Okay, so it's really great that we're all here. And there are no rules, but it's my understanding right now that what we're going to do is we're going to see a brief slideshow where they will introduce themselves, and then we'll open discussion. Oh, and we're going to open discussion. That's what Jonathan and I agreed.
多分日本のことあんま知らない人多い、日本人の方以外は多分ね、知らない人多いんじゃないかな。
Except for the Japanese people, probably most people.
そういう社会問題のシチュエーションなんですね。だからちょっと日本の状況も含めてちょっと紹介したいんですけど、日本人の方には申し訳ないですけど、日本がねまだこれ暗くてね、実は次なんですよこれが。で。もう全部その金儲けのことばっかりをこう考えたりとか、結局その金にならないものは無駄なものとされるのがやっぱり日本の中ではすごい根強いのがあって。
All he's thinking about is making money, and anything that doesn't contribute to making money is considered a waste.
だから結局そのもう本当にもうみんなが金持ちになろうみたいなことばっかり考えて貧乏な生活、貧乏でもいいからもう自由に生活しようっていうのがなかなかその今のところないっていうのが日本の現状だった。
So everybody wants to be rich, and there's very few people who are thinking, I want to be poor but free. That idea is gone.
まあそこでいろいろその もう本当にもう役立たずとかろくでもないやつとか本当貧乏なやつとかそういう変なやつらがいっぱいこううろうろできる空間をどれだけ作るかっていうのが大事なことだなと思って大体6-7年ぐらい前から素人のなんていうのを始めたんです。
So these people are completely useless, near do well before. To create space for them, we decided to work together about 6 or 7 years ago.
でこれをちょっと紹介していきたいんですけど、なんかあります？なんかもうどんどんバーっていきたいから。なんかどうしようかな。まあこれがうちの店ですね。
This is my shop.
まあね、店はね普通なんですよ。
It's really ordinary.
なんかくだらないものとかたくさん置いたりとか。あれすごいですよ。リーマンブラザーズの会社が潰れた時に日本で働いてた人がもう仕事なくなっちゃったからうちの店に売りに来たんです。
The Japanese guy was working for Lehman Brothers in Japan. He lost his job, so he came to this store to sell this.
面白いから一番目立つところにずっと置いてたんです。
It's really interesting, so we put it in a place where everybody can just see it in the store.
ちなみに売り物じゃなくて、まあいいや。でまあこんな感じで、いろいろなんか友達が作ったものとか、自分たちで作ってるものとか、ガイヤーとかも置いといたりとかして、自分の店になんかいろんな人たちが集まってるような場所にはしている。
So I made this space so that people, my friends, can leave their stuff, the stuff they made, stuff I made, so that anybody can come and hang out.
でリサイクルショップなんですけど、お客さんが来た時にお客さんと一緒にお茶を飲んだりとかね。
It's a recycle shop, but when the customers come, we offer them tea, and they can drink tea with us and enjoy themselves.
でも謎のこいつニューヨーク人ですよ。
This guy's a New Yorker.
近所のニューヨーク人、外人とかがもう外人とか日本人も含めていろいろ遊びに来て、で例えば洗濯機を買うじゃないですか。で洗濯機を買った時にちょっと飲んでいきましょうよって、ビールで持ってビール出して一緒にお酒飲んだりとかしてるうちに仲良くなってっていうふうに近所の人の友達も金友達が出てくる。
So a lot of weird foreigners and Japanese come and let's say they're going to buy a little washing machine. I just say, look, just before you go, let's just have a little tea, drink beer. So by doing this, a lot of people become our friends. We have a lot of friends and colleagues from the neighborhood. These are just old people from the neighborhood.
関連するお店がたくさんあって、バーとか飲み屋とか、
a lot of religious shops,
カフェとか、商店街にイベントやったりとか。
Cafes, clothing stores, bars, and people sell stuff in the streets.
で街でいろんなイベントをやってみたりとか、これ商店街の空き地でパフォーマンスのイベントをやったり。
So this is one of the many events we do, like performance arts and whatever on the streets.
この人がすごいのが、そうやってわけのわかんない人がいっぱいいろんな勝手な店やったりとかしてもうろうろするようになって、それで仕事にもなってるからそれで食っていけるんですよ。
So as people come, and people who we have no idea what they're doing, they just come together and sell stuff that's useless, but people still buy it. So somehow this becomes a way of subsisting and living.
そしたら隣に住んでる人が自分もそうやって適当に行きたいなとか言い出して、じゃあ俺も適当やってみようかなって言って自分の店の前にテーブルを出して占いの仕事を勝手に始めて、この人占いの経験ないんですけど勝手に始めた。
So people around us too, they really look at what we're doing and look really interesting. So this guy who has a store next door, he has no experience in fortune telling, but he decided just to put out a table and start reading fortunes.
結構流行りだしてとりあえず悩みの相談とかみんなしたりとかして、それで今この人ちゃんとそれで生活してるっていうとんでもないことです。
And soon enough, this became really popular, so that now he can live off of this particular job.
そうやって日常生活をいろいろ遊び半分でわけのわかんないやつらがたくさん生活できる空間をなるだけ作りつついろんなデモをやってる。
As we're making this space for living and subsistence, playfully and half seriously, we also participating in creating spaces for demonstrations.
ちょっと紹介のところで原発の事故以降に結構デモをやってるっていう紹介があったと思うんですけど、実は原発以前から 結構いろいろデモはしょっちゅうやってて、家賃をタダにしろっていうデモをやったり、自転車を区役所とかが持っていくのをそれ持っていかないでくれというやつをやったりとか、いろいろやってます。
Although in the introduction it was said that we've organized demonstrations after 3/11, we actually been doing a lot of demos before that. For example, demonstrations for making all the rents free, or in this case, demonstrations to have these bicycles, which are usually expropriated by the local governments, not to do that.
あとメーデーの日に働かないというデモをやったり。
Also, May Day, we have a demonstration of not working, of zero work.
普段やっぱ遊んでる人が多いんで、もう遊びながらやるというか、もう音楽やってる人は音楽をやるし、パフォーマンスやってる人はパフォーマンスやるし、ダンサーの人はダンスをするっていう感じで、もう半分はもうパーティーのような感じのデモをよくやってる。
So a lot of people here are just doing this out of fun and enjoyably and playfully. So it's almost like they're just having a time of their just partying and doing these demos at the same time.
これはですね、新宿の駅前のちょうど年末大晦日の夜ですね、0時ぐらいに年越した瞬間に超巨大な紙を持ってきて頭に墨つけて3人がかりぐらいで持って素人のなんて書くっていう人間筆っていうのをやってありますね。
So this took place right in front of Shinjuku Station on New Year's Eve. We got 3 people, and we basically, just sprayed their heads with a lot of black ink, paint, and we decided to have them become like this huge man-made calligraphy machine to write Shiroto Oran. There's no political significance whatsoever.
大事なのはなんかこう日本の世の中っていうのはもうね、本当にね、想像も絶するぐらいなんか普通なんですよ。もう変わったことが全く起こらないというか、もう全部予想できるような感じ。なのでそれをぶち壊すためにやったんです。
But what's really important to remember is that in Japan, everything is normalized. Everything has become completely predictable. So to do something like this, it breaks the cycle and rhythm of everyday life.
まあ大体そんな感じなんですけど、あとは東京だけじゃなくていろんな場所に日本中にそういう似たような変なやつらが集まるような場所っていうのが最近すごいできてきてて、ここやっぱり 2,3 年ぐらいですごいそういうオルタナティブな場所っていうのが日本の中ですごい増えてるのが最近の流れです。
So the last 2-3 years, the development has been in different places like in Osaka, other places outside of Tokyo. These kind of spaces of strange people hanging out and creating their own alternative space have emerged.
大体そんな感じで、一応最後ちょっと紹介します。なんとかバーっていう飲み屋を最近始めてて、そこが毎日店主が変わるような場所なんですよ。で、一日店主で毎日変わってくるんで、もういろんな人が店番できるんですけど、例えばこの時は韓国の人が日本に遊びに来た時に店番をして、そうするとお小遣いを稼いで、ここに泊まって帰れるんで、ただで日本に来れるね。そういう感じでいろんなもう外国とか地方の人がただで遊んで帰れるようなシステムの店を作ってるんで。
And perhaps on a final note, this is what's called Nantoko Bar in the same area, or whatever bar. This is where anybody can come and become the guy who serves the beer. And so that guy you saw was a guy from Korea. So he can come and just work there and make some allowance, and he can just travel for free back and forth.
で大体そんな感じで日常的にいろいろ遊んでて、それで原発事故が起こったんで、これは大変だということでデモをやると。
So in everyday life, we've had a lot of fun, enjoyed ourselves, but with 3/11, we realized something serious has happened, so we decided to do something about it.
じゃあどうしよう。じゃあデモの映像だけ見せて、それであと。
So let's just show a little short clip image of a demonstration, and then let's have a discussion then.
the March 11, we have organized 5 demonstrations. So this is the first demonstration on 10th of April, and 15,000 people showed up on the street. More than 90% of participants were the first time to participate in the demo. And I think this movie is well known the spontaneity of have a look. And so this is the kind of the demonstration we call sound demo. We prepare sound track, sound system on track, and playing music with band or DJs. So we currently prepare 4 tracks for the music, which is hip hop, reggae, punk rock, and local band, and
Where are you using English?
Yeah.
これホームページに出すときに映像の編集するときに全世界の人が分かるようにやっぱりそういうのを結構ねちゃんと考えて編集してるよね。
A lot of people are doing signs in Japanese, but when we edited the film, the international artists decided to choose what's like in English.
And also, on the first demonstration we organized on the 10th of April, we called for global call for solidarity actions all over the world. So this is the demonstration. Yeah, there is one in New York. Our friend in New York organized a demonstration in New York.
利権をひっくり返して生きる権利、権利、権利、権利、権利、権利。私たちが生きてる間には解決できないかもしれない。それでも声を上げたいと、未来に希望を残したいと、子供の子供の子供の子供にも海に泳がせたいと。だから今日声を上げることを決めたRMIラッパー代表をやらせていただきます。DJ は有名なファーストスカイフィッシュ。
You say that we want to make the children enjoy the sea, so we're here. It's because of that. That's what I got from.
そんな絵が深夜に学組揃えて言うよ安全ですと。そんな絵が学組揃えて夜中に言うよ安全ですと。
This is rapping about the lives of the government and also the nuclear plant.
他にもっとしちゃいけないものは法律で条例で決められてるはずなのに。
So usually the demonstration in Japan is prohibited to make more than 4 lines. So this is very unusual to make line bigger.
So after 3/11, these nuclear demos, 90% of the demonstrators are participants for the first time. They've never had political engagements before. So it really qualitatively changed the composition and the nature of the political engagement on the streets.
Okay, so the sociologist in me has to ask, how do you know?
I've talked to a lot of people, and most of the people I've talked to, they just say, "Look, I've been here for the first time. I've never been here."
Okay, another evidence we can empirically we can say that 90% was the first time because we, as he told, we have organized the other demonstration before March 11. March 11. But usually, 300 or maximum 500 people showed up for the demonstration that Shodan organized. But at the time, 15,000 people showed up on the street. So this is completely, more than 90% of people. And we thought that, we organized demonstration on March 10th, April 10th. We thought like 1,000 or 1,500 people would come. But actually, 15,000, more than 10 times more people showed up. So we also didn't predict such big numbers.
How did they learn about the demonstration?
Internet and Twitters.
I think internet was, we made our blog that Kay designed and he organized all, web works. Yeah, I think blog was the most informative tool.
The guy on your left is actually doing analytic studies of the people in occupied Wall Street.
Yeah. Maybe we can work out something. Yeah, hey, I'd like to introduce my friend Max. He's a fellow occupier. He just walked in.
I was wondering if you guys had any issues with police brutality.
日本でいや日本ひどい話でもね
It's pretty bad, pretty fucked up in Japan.
最初はもうこの時はもう警察も500人ぐらいしか来ないと思ってたんですよデモに。なので実際1万5000人ぐらい来たからもう全然もう警察の方が人数足りなくて大丈夫だったんですけど、その後だんだん厳しくなって。
So even the police thought at the initial stage of the demo, only 500 people were going to show up for the demonstration, but because it was 15,000, they had no way of controlling it. So they lost control. But over the passage of time, they become much more severe in regulating the demonstrations.
最後に9月11日にデモをやったんですけど、その時は12人捕まって、でその人たちやっぱりほとんど何もしないんですよ。何もしなくても結構ね、警察がもうなんかやったろって捕まえちゃうっていうのが結構あるんで、それが日本はひどいですね。
So 9/11, for example, there was a demonstration, and 12 people were arrested, and these people were arrested on completely arbitrary charges, like they were not doing anything at all. But just because the cops said, look, you're doing something, they just grab you and take you away.
What about the press, about the mainstream press in Japan? How did they react to the demonstration? And also to your group, and like the whole store thing and the stuff we saw before.
いろいろですね。やっぱメディア日本もやっぱり右寄りのところから左のところもあって、ちょっとなんかひどいんじゃないかっていうニュアンスがちょっと入ってるところもあるし、本当にボートが大量に捕まりましたみたいな報道があるところもある。ボート暴れる人が。
So depending on the vast spectrum of the media from the left to the right. So for example, certain media, would say that there are people who are riffraffs in here or rioters are involved in it. Such particular media institutions as well.
But there was a story in the mainstream press about you again and again, or not?
About the
It's
demonstration?
reported, yeah.
あなた方のデモについて報道されてるか？
報道ね、されるんですけど、やっぱりすごい少ないですね。原発以前に比べたら、やっぱデモの報道はすごい増えたんですけど、それでもすごい少ないと思うんです。
It's very, very limited. I mean, as compared to before 3/11, because of the power of demonstration, the media has been writing about this a lot, but still, it's very, very scarce.
東京の真ん中に2万人ぐらい集まってもこんな小さい記事ですからね。
So even 20,000 people show up in the middle of Tokyo. The article is like this small. It's tiny.
I think one of the more interesting things about this protest for me that no one's really talked about in the mainstream media are all these new weapons that the NYPD uses against us. They have these orange nets they use now that they use to separate the march on the bridge. And last weekend they used these damn strobe lights on us in Washington Square Park. They flash in our eyes, try to give us seizures and stuff. I was just wondering if you see any new techniques from the police. It seems like the latest trend in all this is extreme nonviolence. They're using things that aren't violence, but they're still trying to control us, and it still seems to be the nonviolence is on both sides of this conflict, I think. And I was wondering if you developed any good responses to anything that's been used against you.
Maybe the police learns from each other, just as we're trying to.
Yeah.
ってっていう話なんですけど、皆さんこっちの警察が ある警察が
What's fascinating about this movement is it started with just kind of countercultural stuff, that kind of theater performance.
It's our kind of stuff, though.
I know, but that's how it's prepared. Go ahead, no, go ahead.
警察その新しい武器みたいなのは特にね、もともとデモがほとんどなかった国だから、警察はそんなに新しいものを作ってないですけど、やり方がちょっとやっぱり変わってきてる。
Because Japan has been a country without demonstrations for many, many decades, the cops have not invented new methods of repression, but they have kind of changed their manners of dealing with demonstrators.
でそのオキパイウォールストリートもそうなんですけど、なんかやっぱり広場を作ろうとしてるところが結構あると思うんですよ。で日本もすごいその広場を作ろうっていうのをすごいやってて、でやっぱエジプトとかチュニジアとかで革命が起こった時にすごい広場ができてて、それで世の中変わってるじゃないですか。でそれを日本でも見た時すごいみんなインパクトがあって、あのやり方をやろうっていうのをその原発の事故以降すごいやってて、だからそれに対する警察の警備っていうのがやり方が広場を作らせないようにっていうやり方に変わってますね、警察。
So the way it's changed is because we're heavily inspired by what occurred in Tunisia or in Egypt, where the public square, the public space has been organized as a center of creating insurrection. We've been trying to do the same. I mean, it's the same thing like what we see in Occupy Wall Street. But the cops have become very, very restrictive and very, very cautious about preventing such things from occurring. You know, this creation of public space, the public commons, if you will, in Japan.
Yeah. For example, we tried to make the like Tahrir Square in front of Shinjuku Station. Shinjuku Station is the most crowded station in Tokyo, and we did that on 11th of June. Yeah, it was quite successful. More than 20,000 people showed up on the in front of Shinjuku Station. But in the second time, we also tried to do the same thing on September 11th. But 1 month before, Tokyo Prefecture started to construction site in the middle of the square. They said like we need to repair the garden in the center of the square park, and so they built a very big fence to divide the people inside the square in front of Shinjuku Station. Yeah, so those things happen. Yeah, but no construction happened.
You guys have lived down here at Occupy Wall Street, and I wonder if the sort of spirit or the mood of the thing and the way of organization is similar or different, or what do you find the same and what do you find different?
そうですね、日本はね、やっぱりまだちゃんと住むっていうのにできないですからね。その場で広場作ってもやっぱその日の夜遅くにはやっぱり解散しなきゃいけない感じなので、その辺が全然違うところですね、まだ。
The greatest difference is that in Japan, even if you make like a little public square or place of gathering, by the time the night comes, everybody disperses and goes home. So that's still very different.
Yeah, no, this is obviously Occupy Wall Street is an anti-capitalist protest. I'm there for anti-capitalism. I was wondering, what do you see as the role of global capitalism in building these power plants, maintaining these power plants, the future of nuclear energy? Do you think that in a future system alternative to capitalism, how would you, what role do you see capitalism playing in these nuclear plants?
なんていうのかな、結局日本の中でもそれ資本主義の連中がとりあえず原発をやたらやっぱ作りたがってますよね。でなんていうのかな、全部なんか 原発を作ることによってやっぱすごいいろんな利権が発生したりとか、金儲けの連中が金をたくさんこう生むシステムがやっぱ原発によってできるんですよね。やっぱね。それを維持しようとしてるから、もう本当にまさにそのあれですね、本当金儲け連中がやるために作ってるみたいな感じですね。
So basically, it's a capitalist for making nuclear plants, and so what by making nuclear plants and by exposing the lies and what's going on with the nuclear plants, you're exposing also the power relationship of capitalism within the Japanese economic system.
Within your movement and within the people that you're in contact with, is there an understanding that capitalism is the root cause of the nuclear problem?
もうその人たちの方が多いですね。まあ自分たちもこの辺もみんな含めてですけど。
It's mostly such people who has that recognition, including people here.
ただもちろんその反原発だけで集まってくる人もいるんで、その資本主義反資本主義ない人たちも来てるのは事実です。
But it's also true that the people who come, not so much for anti-capitalism, but for just for anti-nuclear reasons.
資本主義嫌いな人の方がやっぱ圧倒的に多い。
But I think overwhelmingly people just do not like capitalism.
Do you think that there's unanimity in Occupy Wall Street about the idea that capitalism is the root of the problem?
I would say that even amongst the participators who agree with the classical model of American capitalism, small firms, lots of competition, betterment for the consumer, even those people would say that what we're living in is not that. And yes, the vast majority are explicitly anti-capitalist, at least I would
say I would actually somewhat disagree with that. Not in the sense that, well, no, just in the sense that I think using just the term capitalism is so broad, and it doesn't include, there's so many different forms of capitalism. Capitalism, like European form of capitalism versus laissez-faire or American. So I think that's a very complicated and convoluted sort of situation. But I would say on the whole, that you are getting, but you do have, Ron Paul supporters down there.
You have what?
Ron Paul supporters down there. So I guess my point just is that I think it's very easy to sum things up and say, well, it's an anti-capitalist movement, but I think it's far more complicated than that.
To that point, I think this movement has grown so quickly and so fast that we have no idea who's really down there right now. I mean, it's hard to tell where that line between a protester and the public is at this point, and I think that's kind of how we wanted it to go. But the people that first got together, the first started Occupy Wall Street, definitely anti-capitalist. I don't know anybody here who's like cool with capitalism.
You're ambiguous.
No, I hate it. I mean, I work in it, I support it unwillingly, but I hate it.
I'm for capitalism at this point.
And then it's interesting in the sort of discussions we have over at the think tank, because I think that's one of the areas where this kind of ambiguous boundary between the public and the occupiers actually becomes really fruitful and apparent, and it's the constant issue, like is that there's always people who are involved in the discussions who want to bring it back to like massive systemic change, which I get very excited in those moments. But, of course, you've got this opportunity, you've got this space where members of the public who are literally just passing by are engaging in those discussions, which is one, really exciting, but two, an area of slight caution, because you don't want to put them off, you want to bring them in, and you want to have them as part of you want to have them as part of this process, because that seems to me what's so remarkable about OWS is that anyone can really be part of it just by turning up and having a conversation. It's extraordinary in that respect.
We actually just had a discussion yesterday that was topic the 99%'s relation to the 1%. And we spent an hour with people cycling in and out, but probably 10 core people talking about it. And that's what I would say. The people sitting there weren't entirely anti-capitalist. They were more trying to figure out how they can sort of alter the system to be a more, I guess capitalism with a human face.
We went through that, you know, it was such a moment.
Yeah.
We went through socialism a few times, you know. And those things should be really explored because they're fascinating, you know, that it's not that everything is wrong. If just some things would be there. And this is my question here to you. And actually, when Adam meeting will be here on Saturday, I think we can have this conversation actually. But here's my question, because I'm kind of relatively new American, so right, whatever that this means. But it means that I do remember. No, differently. If you have a computer and your computer broke, just as mine did yesterday, right? There are some ways of recovering it, right? So we go back to a certain point of recovery. Is there such a point? And this is, I know that you probably didn't discuss it, but I'm just curious about it. Is there such a point in American recent history, like 30 years ago, that the gap between rich and poor was so great that people could go to study and and to expect that the life would be better. If there is such a point, to which this computer we can go back, is there such a thing, or is it really about something else? Because that would be fixing. But you don't fix by going back. I'm just imagining that. I'm just trying to. Is there anything here that it's really something which is treasurable and worth?
I'm going to play the role of moderator. And I know this gentleman wanted to speak a few minutes ago, so please go ahead.
It's simple. It's to invite more women voices to the fore. A lot of them can be learned in Occupy Wall Street to pay attention. Who is which voices are more dominant in the conversation, and encourage more voices that are more silent. I just want to invite more women to talk.
I think Steve says something.
Okay, that's heard. Please.
I would like to
And then
respond. I would say no, that there isn't a point we can look back to where we say, this is an America that we are proud of, that we're happy with. Even looking back 30 years ago where there wasn't the kind of income disparity between the middle class and the upper class that we see now, there's always been problems with poverty, there's always been problems with racism, and those are really structural problems, and they're fundamental to what American capitalism is and has been for at least until the 19th century. So no, I don't have an idealized vision of America's path, and I'm not trying to. I don't think as a movement we do ourselves any favors by mythologizing America's past. We have to look forward. We're creating a new model of direct democracy that has the negotiating system before. And what we're doing ultimately is, I think, growing a global movement. And so that if we focus too much on American history, then we constrain that movement and make it a regional movement.
I appreciate that, and I think it is about doing different democracies, and that we may get us a better economy, or just.
We certainly hope.
Let me throw out a big word and just ask the folks from both movements to respond, and that's the word revolution. It's one that I haven't seen uttered very much, on the web.
You should hang out at Occupy Wall Street. I was there on day, 2.5, 3, I showed tonight. But I was there early on, and you wouldn't really get a lot of traction throwing that word around. And now you can't walk 10 feet without hearing it. So but that's such a, like you were saying, capitalism with a capital C, or revolution with a capital R. It's not. Our concept of revolution is somewhat disconnected from the picture definition.
What would be the difference?
Well, I don't think that a mob with torches and pitchforks showing up at the White House is really possible at this point. But
desirable, but not
but I think that there's been a reconceptualization of what revolution means, because in the face of the reality that that's not really possible, how can you accomplish a revolutionary goal in your own life? So I feel like it's kind of gone from top down to bottom up almost. Instead of vanguard parties, instead of democratic, representative democratic process, I think a lot of people are now focusing on the idea, and this I'm speaking for myself. I live in a small town of about 1,000 people. You know, how can I take the model of Occupy Wall Street, the activism, the discussion, and take it back to a town of 1,000 people? How does that work? And so I think that's kind of the paradigm shift in how revolution is changing just the concept of what it even is. Because, you know, the 99% are so diverse that if we did show up at the White House with, you know, pitchforks and torches, I don't think any of us would be able to agree on what we want to replace it with. So